Can I tell you what really personified the game for me? It was the 60th minute around there, and I watched two teams walking. I watched a team that just fired a coach that is under a little bit of pressure because they lost some games, walking. I watched another team that's 1-0 down that has figured out that, man, if you play a certain way, you can unlock this thing, walking. I thought that the ref had blown a whistle. Until the game was still on. And I think that explains what this game was. These teams don't take us seriously. These teams don't take what they do seriously. And you can feel it. Because that draw felt like a loss. Because the guys were just not in the game. Nothing was happening. And they were happy and move on. I think the theme of my reviews today is going to be about effort levels, number one. So if you want to watch the Sundowns one will be up soon, but effort levels, number one. But then number two, what is it that's happening on the pitch? So when we go to the game, Chiefs starts with what? 6 or 7 defensive-minded players. Now, on the face of it, I see the starting lineup and I go, I understand what you guys are doing. Keep it as a back three. You've brought in Quinica. Quinica's a cool head so they can balance out Miguel. Then you bring in Cross and you mimic what you did well last season when you were playing that back three. You have Marco on the left-hand side who can be a defensive cover because you've seen in the past few games that when your left back pushes up and gets sucked into the game, your two centre-backs are put into tough spaces. Then it's tough for Frostler to come back in. When these two have moved on, goals are scored from there. So I understand why Marco comes onto the pitch because then you've got a winger who can be a little bit more defensive. I look on the pitch and I say, okay, I'm doubting Cirino. I've been doubting Cirino for a little bit, but maybe having Mayo with Dupreez could be a great two up front that we could see bring something different. So I would have loved to see the two of them stay closer together because Mayo gives you the opportunity to have a physical player who's also quick and also a hard worker. Mayo, for some reason at CRB, at Belouiz, that he changed the way that he played. And we were watching him there become a right back at times, just work, especially in those games that we saw him versus Pirates. So I'm thinking to myself, you pair Dupreez with somebody where you can have some pace, or at the very least, Cirino could play in the 10, get that ball, turn, and be able to spread a pass in. And what's nice is that you play on transition, then you know that Ndlovu is a hard worker in the midfield who's going to track down those balls. You know that Mthethwa, who's looking a lot better in the defensive duties that he has to do, will still be able to win this ball back. Maybe Ndlovu could play that first pass to your creative player. You hit as quickly on the counter, you go and score, right? That's what I'm thinking. Then I watch the game. And there's this thing, I don't know if it's modern football, I don't know if it's a new idea, where a lot of the players are half this and half that. So you watch teams rotate. So you watch Mayo pop up on the left wing with Marco coming inside, then Dupreez might be a right back, right wing at some point, so drop into the 8, and Cirino will be playing, which is all well and good, but the amount of tactical discipline, just discipline in general that you need in order to play that system is a lot. So when you rotate, you need to make sure that you don't have spaces open, where I saw from even the first 10 minutes, they chasing a space, all of them, and it's opening up elsewhere. Now, you give them credit for having an aggressive press. That's what Mayo can give you. He gives you a chance that as soon as they lose the ball, you press from the front, you push forward, you play that football, right? You go and win the ball back. But what I feel like sometimes our games are crying out for, and maybe why we're losing a lot of players, is that there's no players that just get to play a position and get good at that position and get confident in that position. I'm watching Cirino, one of the best minds. I get it when we brought him in. The point was that he's a good mind, he's a brain, he's a thinker. The season he came in, the first 4 games, you could tell that you win the ball back, you give it to him, he turns around, he makes the right choice. I'm watching him playing on the wing. There was a point we were defending, and Umako ayeko. Umako's not even in the same side as what you're meant to be, and you're watching a Mayo playing a 6. And I'm saying to myself, what is the rhyme or reason of some of the choices you've made and some of the play that you're making? Oftentimes I'll say, if you guys watch the channel, most of the times I'll say, how many repeatable actions have you seen from a team to tell you that tactically that's what we wanted to do? Because even Marumo Gallants had 2 types of plays that should have beaten Kaizer Chiefs. 2 types of plays. Early on in the game, you're watching a 3-defender setup get beaten by a ball that just goes just in behind Quinica. And where the back 5 thing is supposed to help Frosler, now you're watching Frosler chasing a man. We literally saw that 2 games ago, where Frosler can't chase his man. He's a little bit too slow, a little bit unaware to chase his man in. So in a 3, it would allow Quinica to move a little bit freer to go chase that man. But the ball's just been played behind him, I think 2 or 3 times. Marumo Gallants should have used those opportunities that they got when they played it over, and they didn't. That was number 1. But then number 2, in the second half, you started seeing that Chiefs has now made the subs. They've taken off Abo Mayo, they've taken off all the other guys, and they've made random subs, back to an issue that everybody spoke about with Nabi. You had made random subs that are not going to change anything. It felt like at the time they made the subs, the game was done, they were finished, they didn't need to do anything more. But anyway, they make the subs, and now you're seeing that even if you have 7 players behind the ball, if you cannot marshal, if you cannot structure, all they're going to do is play the ball down. I was even saying that if that was a dance Marumo Gallants, they easily win that game 3-0, because Undlondlo was coming alive. He was starting to play the ball through. They were starting to see. And they did it 2 or 3 times, and they stopped. But they just stopped playing. And that's when I was like, you're 1-0 down. You've got the key. You're not pushing with the key. What do you mean? The way those triangles were working and putting the defense into 6s and 7s, because the defensive cover had gone to sleep. When Cele came on, you stopped having that Ndlovu presence, that hard working. Ndlovu is a lot like Mart in the way that they work hard. They run. They've got an engine on them. But you take him off, Cele comes on. Instead of Cele being a controlling 6 where you can give him the ball, and then maybe you could play it with Shabalala, or maybe play it with somebody and just calm the game down. He's become an attacker. He's running forward, so now it means that there's holes now in the defense, and Gallants was literally just playing around, because now Miguel wants to jump. This one wants to jump, that one wants to jump, and the more you jump, the more people play around you. I literally said in the Skukune game, for example, there was a throwback to when Caruso was playing with Mato. Caruso would jump out, and then they just play around him into the space. Mato was too slow to get there, and that's how goals were conceded. Literally today, Marumo Gallants, if they had better decision making inside the box, which is another thing, PSL players can't finish, but anyway, if they had better decision making inside the box, they could have scored a few more goals. And if they continued doing that maybe 4, 5, 6 more times, maybe you leave that game with something, right? Already you see the Clifford goal came from a side that we've been crying about, that again, you're playing with a back 5, but it seems like there's no support on that side, right? Clifford scores the goal. If I'm Marumo Gallants, I'm fighting to get Clifford into more 1v1 situations with Ukwinika. I'm fighting to get more 1v1 situations where maybe you have an overlapping run to take advantage of Frosler being a little bit slow, right? But they just stopped. They scored the goal, and 7 minutes later, 8 minutes later, there was a break in the game, and they were still congratulating each other. And I'm like, guys, you have the game right here. And maybe this game for me is not a game about the tactics. It's not a game about all of that. It's a game about the effort from both teams. It's a game where you want to see more. Where's the emotional connection of the situation of the game? It's almost like both teams are like, guys, ke holiday. It's Heritage Day, Ntwana. But we're out here playing football. And again, I'm going to ask a couple of questions, and maybe in the comments you can answer me. What was Duprise's role in this game? Because for me, I get he's fast. But to play wing, you have to be more than just fast. To play wing in that system, you have to be able to cover your right back. Frosler, again, left to dry. Right? Not that Frosler did well, but he's left to dry on that side. Usually happens on the left side with cross, but anyway, left to dry. When he gets the ball, what's the point of him getting the ball? Because even if he wins the ball and he runs up the line, what cross is going to come from Dupree's? What cutback? What decision making? And again, it's not that the player is not good or is a bad player. The problem is that the skill set that the player has is now being deployed somewhere where the player is not going to be good, where the player is going to be below par there. But because he's fast, we put him there. Then you ask, what's the point? The goal that they scored was more of the play that I was expecting from the two of them. Mayo maybe dropping in. But old school, if you remember the old 4-4-2s, one striker used to drop in and be responsible for maybe winning that first ball, maybe getting the ball and playing it through or passing it, maybe putting it down for the 10, maybe flicking it through for their partner. And they work with a synergy, right? That's what you want to see. That those two are communicating, and you saw that, oh, okay, there is a space in Marumo Gallants' defense when they come closer to each other. They tried a little bit, but then, again, the discipline of it all went away. And especially versus a Marumo Gallants that wasn't giving you anything. They didn't have a striker on the pitch. So, it was a frustrating game. And it's frustrating because you don't know what Dupree's is doing. Back to the questions. What was Tlolile Lepo's role? What is he meant to do in that game? What was Marco's position and role? When Pule Modi came on, what was the point of Pule Modi coming on? What could we see in those minutes that told you, okay, the plan was to do this? Or was it a team that was making subs as if they're 4-0 up and they're just giving people a run? It's the same old mistakes with the same old players. And I think what's happening at Chiefs, again, is that thing where our new signings, it's going to sound weird, but our new signings, they arrive and they realize that, oh, okay, if it looks like effort, every single game. Marco looked incredible the first few games when he arrived, because I think he still had the mindset, structure, system. Okay, I need to do this. I need to not be up there. I can't get excited. I can't let emotions take me. The first few games, I remember him taking the ball out wide, crossing the ball crazy, immaculately. It was so good. Watching him get that ball, relax, pass the ball through. He was a calming factor. But it's like he realized that, oh, okay, I can run and do whatever I want. Similar to a Cirino. When Cirino arrived at Kaizer Chiefs, the first 4 games, he was the brain. Now, he's a winger, he's a striker, he's a false 9, he's a false 10, he's a false wing. When you were watching them play. And I think that's what really gets to me about what we're calling this modern football. Sometimes just look at your players' strengths and simplify the game as far as possible. And play with some sort of hunger. Play with some sort of reverence. Play with some sort of want to go win. You could feel it. You could feel it from the get-go. And again, Cirino makes a start. There's something to be said about him starting games, but let's not go there. But you could feel that this game it didn't feel like it was important to either of these teams. But in any case, a good point one by Marumo Gallants. Lafite, 28-year-old coach, now goes out and he's beaten Pirates, he's drawn versus Sundowns, he's drawn versus Chiefs. I think he's done pretty well. 28 years old. Let's see what he can do going forward. I think they still need to develop something that they can go and win actual games with, because you can't play like that for a lot of games. When it comes to Chiefs, 2 losses and a draw now. Bad loss versus Kukune. Kabaskorp was able to take something from Chiefs, and now a draw. It's not looking good, even for the co-coaches. So we'll see what happens. All I can ask for is the result is a result, win, lose, or draw. But show some respect to the fans. Show some respect to the people that follow you. Show some respect to the people that watch the games. Show some respect for the people that don't get to do what you guys get to do. play with something, some khiyas, something, guys. Heritage Day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, play with it. Because this is something that you do for a living, and it's a burden that you hold over a lot of people that watch you. It's a big responsibility for everybody. Chiefs, Pirates, the Marumo Gallants, Makesi, all of the teams. Respect us. I'll see you guys on the next one.